Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Derek Tsai from learnbyblogging.com. Today, I want to give a book review of this book called The Startup of You by Reid Hoffman and uh, Ben Casnocha. So this is the book that I'm reviewing today. Consider yourself an entrepreneur and your career as a startup company. By developing your competitive advantage, formulating your plan to adapt, networking with others, and taking advantage of the breakout opportunity by taking intelligent risks, you will become a very successful startup yourself, according to the book author, who has successful startup experience in themselves. The author gave many good tips like budgeting for networking, maintaining a separate identity from your job, and many very good tips in the book. At the end of the audiobook, which is what I listened to, there's a bonus section. The author had a very nice conversation between themselves, and to me, that's a very answer a lot of questions that I had. And so when billionaires like Reid Hoffman give you tips, you better listen. So my only turn off in this book is that at times the author, Reid Hoffman, seems to be promoting LinkedIn, which is a company that he founded and still serving as a chairman, as the CEO of the company. But overall, it's a very good book. Good read if you want to have a very successful career. I have a quick summary here. Chapter 1 is that the author said that all humans are entrepreneur. So why the startup of you? Because the world is changing. The amount of time you spend in a job is shrinking. We need to act like an entrepreneur, making decisions in information poor and time compressed, resource constrained environment. I use the backdrop of the Detroit, the auto industry. The author drill into the points of keeping up with the entrepreneurial spirit, the permanent beta mindset of never finish improving yourself, improving your own skill, and so all the chapters that follows go into more details of that. Chapter 2 is about developing a competitive advantage. You are selling your brain powers, your skills and energies, and doing so in the face of massive competition. You need to ask yourself, a company hires me over the other professionals because of what? What are you offering that's hard to come by and both rare and valuable? The three factors that influence your competitive advantages are your asset, your aspiration, and values, and the market reality. So three things: your asset, aspiration and values, and the market realities. So more about these three items. Your assets are both, they are soft and they are hard assets. The soft asset is the soft skill that you have. You cannot really directly trade for money. Intangible contributor to your career success, the knowledge and information, in professional connections, and the trust that you have built up. Your strength, things that come easy for you. And so those are the things that are considered as the soft assets, according to the author. But the hard assets are something very simple. It's what you list in the balance sheet, the cash in the bank, and etc. The second thing about second consideration is the aspiration and values. Aspiration is your deepest wishes, ideas, goals, and vision of the future. Value is what is important to you, whether it be knowledge, autonomy, money, integrity, power, and so on. And the third element to consider is the market reality. Andreessen has a quote: "Markets don't exist, don't care about how smart you are." So you aren't entitled to anything. All the advantages are local. in the pick a hill that has less competition. So consider the market reality as one of the key ingredients on your success and a part of your competitive advantage. Now, chapter 3 is about plan to adapt. Do both listening to your heart and listening to the market. Be true to your value and vision, yet remain flexible enough to adapt. The author introduced the idea of ABZ planning. Plan A is what you are doing now, your current implementation of your competitive advantage, and Plan B is what you pivot to when you need to change either your goal or your plan or the route for getting there, generally in the same ballpark of Plan A. So Plan A and B are related. Plan Z is what your fallback position is, your lifeboat. Is what allows you to take on Plan A and Plan B. So priority, so those are the 3 plans that you need to have when you are talking about adapting. And then make sure you have prioritized learning, prioritize plans that offer the best chance of learning about yourself and the world. What will grow your self assets the fastest and the most learning potential. So learn by doing, by action, not plans, but generate lessons that help you test your hypothesis against reality. I particularly like this idea of maintaining a reputation, a public portfolio of the work that's not tied to your employer. For example, like this learnbyblogging.com is totally separate from my work. I want to maintain a separate identity from my work. Then you have a professional identity you can carry on with you as you shift jobs. So the best plan B is different, but very much related to what you are already doing. And then favor the options that let you keep one foot planted while the other one swing to the new identity. So what we call a pivot to an adjacent niche. So that's plan B. Chapter number 4 is that the author talk about the network that you have. It takes a network. The fastest way to change yourself is to hang out with the people who are already the way you want it to be. I versus we is a false choice. It's both. So think about I to the power of the we. I to the power of we, just like dating. Have a long-term perspective. See the world from that person's perspective. So think about how you can help and collaborate with the other person first. And think of it like a ballroom dancing. Move in unison, perhaps gently gliding and following. Ask what is in it for us instead of just what's in it for me. So there are 2 types of relationship in the network. There are the professional allies, and then there are the weak ties and acquaintances. Weak ties, professional allies are someone you consult regularly for advice, proactively share and collaborate on opportunity together, talk up and promote each other to other friends. And the friendship, a relationship that goes from just being an exchange partnership to being the true alliance. Number 2, the weak ties acquaintance are exposed to some information, more information or job listing that you haven't seen. They are valuable in the breadth in the breadth and the reach of your network. So the author dive into a lot of the LinkedIn functions, a bit of self-promoting, why not if it works. Then how to strengthen, you talk about how to strengthen the network by number 1, offer to help and give like a relevant information and articles, introductions to friends, to colleagues, etc. Number 3 is let yourself be helped. Sometimes the best way to get help is to ask to be helped. And number 4 is be a bridge to a connection to other people. And number 5 is set up an interesting people, fun to take people out for meal. So budget the networking ahead of time. So now you give a lot of examples how a person can be successful by doing that when the person is living out of the town. navigate status dynamic when dealing with powerful people. And it goes a little bit more, there's delicate balance on what you can do with people in a position of power. So that's very interesting political view. So the key thing is don't make them look bad. Actively maintain the relationship you value and consciously let fade those that you do not. And I mentioned about girlfriend and friends. You can always pick up the relationship later if you cross that road. Number 5, chapter 5 is pursuit of breakout opportunities. So opportunity is like a snap to the quarterback, like a football game. Careers like startups are punctuated with breakouts. Curiosity about industries, people, and jobs will make you alert to professional opportunities. Join information groups, association as much as possible, and do the hustle and be resourceful. Be resilient when the naysayer allowed. Turn up the music, just like Pandora. There's a story about Pandora. So keeping your options open is frequently more of a risk than committing to a plan of action. So keeping your option open is frequently more of a risk than committing to an option. So committing to an action, a plan of action. So if you try to keep your options open all the time, you're never going to make a decision, and sometimes make the decision reduce the opportunity in the short run, but it increases opportunity in the long run. Very interesting concept here. Number 6, chapter 6, take intelligent risks. Risk in the career context is like a downside consequence from a given action or decision. So pursue opportunity where others misconceive as a risk, like Warren Buffett would consider sometimes when a big market sell-off as opportunity. So think contrarian, and there may be lower risk than your peers think. They are still high reward, but are still high reward. So short-term risk increase the long-term stability. Interesting. The volatility paradox. This is from Nassim Taleb. The volatility paradox. A small fire can prevent a really big burn in a forest. And make yourself resilient to the shocks by pursuing the opportunities with some volatility baked in. Volatility is not the bad thing. So non-volatile environment, like a government job, give an illusion of stability, but there's a high chance of a black swan, meaning that there's a outlier disaster or something that's not predictable. So the only long-term answer to risk is resilience. Chapter 7, this is the last chapter. Who you know is what you know. You gather, you manage, and use information will determine whether you win or lose. Another quote. What will get you somewhere is being able to access the information you need when you need it. So your network is an indispensable source of intelligence. They offer personalized, contextualized advice and filter information you get from other sources. Progression of literacy, of reading, writing in the old days. And he gave an example about in the old days when you read and write, that's good enough as a literacy and get you a lot of wealth. To these days, that's not good enough. You need to have a network literacy, meaning that you know how to conceptualize, how to access, how to benefit from information flowing through your social network, and target it and pull intelligence from your network by posing questions to the entire network or talented individuals who are domain experts who know you well and somebody just really smart. So ask the good questions. Number 1, converse, don't interrogate. Number 2, adjust the lens, narrowing the scope. Ask very small scope questions. Frame and prime. The top, like for example, what are the top 3 things you did not get to do and wish you did? A lot of the very deep questions. Number 4 is follow up and probe. Number 5 is push interesting information out to your network. So this chapter is all about networking, and actually last 2 chapters is about networking. In fact, I think the whole book is about networking, but that goes to tell you how important networking is to your career, besides your technical skill. So overall, it's a pretty good book. I think I get something out of it, and if you don't get anything out of it, at least you know how to use the LinkedIn to your advantage. Okay, so I hope that helped with your understanding of the book. The book is The Startup of You. This is the book, The Startup of You by Reid Hoffman and Ben Casnocha. Thank you very much.